tripping is a psychological manipulation tactic that makes someone feel guilty or responsible for a situation in order to control their actions. It plays on human emotions, particularly the deep-seated need to be seen as a good person and avoid disappointing others. When someone guilt trips you, they frame a situation in such a way that rejecting their request or standing up for yourself feels like an act of cruelty or selfishness. Instead of asking directly for what they want, they manipulate your emotions so that you feel obligated to comply. At its core, guilt tripping exploits the natural human tendency to seek approval and avoid conflict. The guilt tripper strategically positions themselves as a victim, subtly implying that your actions, or lack of action, are hurting them. The goal is to make you feel responsible for their emotional state, even when you haven't actually done anything wrong. Once guilt takes hold, the target often feels pressured to make amends, even if it means going against their own best interests. One of the most common ways guilt tripping appears is through passive-aggressive remarks. Statements like, "I guess I'll just do it myself, even though I always help you," or, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me," are classic guilt-tripping phrases. These statements are not direct requests, but rather calculated expressions designed to provoke a sense of obligation. Instead of openly communicating their needs, guilt trippers plant emotional traps, making their target feel like they owe them something. Guilt tripping is often seen in relationships, particularly in toxic friendships, romantic dynamics, and even family interactions. A parent might say, "If you really loved me, you'd call me more often," instead of simply asking for more frequent communication. A partner might say, "If you cared about our relationship, you wouldn't go out with your friends tonight," turning a personal choice into an act of neglect. The guilt tripper seeks to control behavior by making their target feel like any act of independence is a betrayal. This manipulation tactic is also commonly used in workplaces. A boss might say, "I thought you were a team player, but if you don't want to put in extra hours, that's your choice," making an employee feel guilty for setting boundaries. Colleagues might say, "I covered for you last time, but I guess you don't return favors," guilt-tripping someone into doing extra work. Because people generally want to be seen as reliable and considerate, they often give in to such pressure, even if it means sacrificing their own needs. Guilt-tripping can be a subtle yet powerful tool in persuasion, particularly in situations where direct confrontation would be less effective. It's a favorite technique of manipulative individuals because it allows them to get their way without appearing aggressive or controlling. Instead of outright demanding something, they make their target feel as though they are the ones at fault, compelling them to act out of remorse rather than genuine willingness. One of the most dangerous aspects of guilt tripping is that it can erode a person's sense of autonomy over time. If someone is constantly made to feel guilty for prioritizing their own needs, they begin to associate self-care with selfishness. This leads to a pattern of people-pleasing, where they constantly sacrifice their well-being to avoid disappointing others. In extreme cases, prolonged exposure to guilt tripping can lead to anxiety, resentment, and emotional exhaustion. To defend against guilt tripping, it's crucial to recognize it for what it is: manipulation disguised as emotional appeal. If someone makes you feel guilty for setting a boundary or making a decision, pause and ask yourself whether their feelings are truly your responsibility. Instead of falling into the trap of apologizing or over-explaining, respond with firm but calm statements like, "I understand that you're upset, but I have to do what's best for me." Acknowledging their feelings without accepting guilt is the best way to break the cycle. The best way to handle guilt tripping is to maintain strong personal boundaries. If someone tries to make you feel responsible for their emotions, remind yourself that everyone is responsible for their own feelings. The moment you stop feeding into the guilt, the manipulator loses their power over you. While it's natural to want to help others, True support should come from a place of genuine kindness, not emotional coercion.